You want to hear something crazy? Over the last 2 years, we've generated our client partners more than 5 billion views, 24 million followers, and over 1 million leads. And the video you're about to watch is a virtual presentation that I did at the Creator Cashflow Conference, speaking to over 50 business owners who are doing more than 7 figures per year, looking to scale their businesses to doing $1 million per month and beyond. And the presentation is about how our average client generates 36.8 million views per month, and how collectively our clients are doing more than $2 billion in annual sales. I hope you enjoy. The presentation today is how our average client gets 36.8 million views per month, and collectively our clients generate 2 billion plus in annual sales. So we'll be breaking down how this works, how we do it. I've been game planning and really put together a lot of effort into the presentation that we'll be going through today. I wanted to make it as tactical as possible and step by step as possible, so there's no guessing of what you need to do next after watching this. It's not going to be a fluff presentation. It's not going to be this big thing about my story or motivation. It's just going to be what we're seeing that's working and allow you to action things step by step. First, who the heck are you? My name is Logan Forsyth. I'm founder and co-CEO of Media Scaling. I've been on multiple pretty cool podcasts and have spoken on a lot of stages and done events like what we're doing today. We've gained 5 billion plus views and 24 million followers in the last 2 years for our client partners. We've been recognized in over 14 publications as the #1 leading firm in social media growth. Numerous national and global social media awards have been won in the last 2 years since we started doing this. We're currently generating over 500 million views per month for our clients. We have a team of over 100 social media experts. It's been incredible, fast growth. And then we're working with brands, again, generating 2 billion plus in annual online sales across many different industries. And we get to learn how they do, what's working the best and what's not, and then really apply that for our own methodologies and our own consulting with other clients and brands that we work with. So, all right, let's hop in. The goal of today is to give you the step-by-step roadmap to scale your content and turn it into millions. And I think this is the big one for business owners without living in front of the camera. We don't want to film content all the time, consistently have a camera on us. We want to be consistent. It's like what Brandon was talking about. You can batch and knock out 80 videos in a day. We'll be breaking that down. And so there's 3 pillars to become a top 1% brand today. First, you need to create great content. Second, mass distribute that great content. And third, maximize your monetization, which is where the money comes into play and the reason that all of us are doing this in the first place. So let's break it down. Step 1, create great content. How do we do that? Number 1, partner with AI. You're going to hear about this a lot today, I'm sure. And so what you want to do is create an AI company brain and add ChatGPT to the top of your org chart. I'm honestly not even joking, it's serious. And the quality of results depends on the quality of context that you give AI. And so you really need to go in depth with all the information that you're feeding it about you and your brand, your ICP, and we're going to be breaking this down. So what you want to do is upload everything about your brand and your business into ChatGPT. I know ChatGPT does, I know Grok does, I would assume Claude does as well, but they have memory. And so they memorize every conversation and every piece of information that you feed into it. And so when you're building your AI company brain, it's more of an upfront build out. And then once you have that done, it's done. And you'll continue to add pieces here and there, but it memorizes everything that you put into it. So you want to upload your website, funnels, videos, transcripts, marketing materials, like upload everything that you have into ChatGPT to train it to where the goal is it knows your business just as well, if not better than you do. You can also brain dump on voice notes, just telling it everything about your business. Like go on your phone, go to the voice app, and then speak into it for 10, 15 minutes and just tell it everything. Tell it the history, tell it your revenue, your profit, your challenges, your vision, just everything that you can. You can just ramble on, and it's going to take all that information and feed into it and help you game plan. And then once you do this, ask it what other questions that you should answer to give it more clarity on your business. And it's going to give you some great stuff. And so you can keep diving in. By the way, there's a QR code throughout all these slides that everyone can scan to get this full presentation afterwards as well. So just a side note. And again, the goal is for ChatGPT ChatGPT to know your business as well as you do. And then once you create your AI brain, next step is start to create projects, is what ChatGPT calls it, to stay organized. And so projects are basically folders that you can create within it, and you can name them after different departments or functions in your business. So I have folders around sales. And so anytime I'm brainstorming something sales related, I'm doing it in that project. I have folder around socials or brand or content. You have folders around operations and so on and so forth. Cool. Next, we want to identify your super consumer. So an ICP stands for an ideal client or customer profile. And the difference between an ICP and a super consumer is an ICP is hypothetical. So you're kind of guessing. A lot of businesses up front, they'll put together their ICP based on who they think is the best ideal client profile for their business. Once you actually start your business and start having sales and customers come through, a super consumer is your actual top customers who represent a disproportional high percentage of revenue and profit and who are also highly engaged. So you get to the point to where you now have actual quantifiable people to go off of rather than hypothetical scenarios. And you want to get very specific on them and lean in, like hyper niche your business to speak to your super consumer, and not only your content, but your marketing, your website, everything that you're doing, your email automations, your campaigns. And why do you want to do this? It's because when you speak to a specific person in your content, the platforms serve your content organically to that specific person. The algorithms have gotten so good at identifying who we're speaking to, and they have trillions of data points on all of us. And so when you're speaking to them, organically, your content is served to them. That's why organic content has almost never been more like ads than it is today. Like I mentioned, your super consumers who you speak to and who you create content for. We're doing this to grow our business. We're building our personal brands or just content strategy in general to grow the business. So don't just chase views for views' sake. Don't just create funny prank content, whatever, because if those videos go viral, it's not going to attract the right people for your brand. And I've seen it happen before to people to where they're chasing views. And so they're creating content that doesn't speak to their super consumer, and a video will go viral and it'll bring in 20,000 followers who would never pay them any money and don't really care about their actual business. And that screws up their audience. So you want to be aligned with, again, who you're creating content for. Again, I wanted to make everything as step-by-step easy as possible for everyone. So I included this super consumer AI prompt. It's so good, like what it feeds you when you actually use this. And so again, the slide presentation, scan the QR code, you'll get all of this after. All of it's fully for free for everyone here. You just put this prompt into ChatGPT or whatever AI of your choice. You say you're a world-class brand strategist and consumer psychologist. Your task is to define the super consumer for a high-performing personal or consumer brand. Here is the business content. You put in the brand name, the website, the product or offer, target revenue range, social media handles of your brand, existing customer base insights. You want to, again, brain dump here. And then it's going to feed you the demographics, the age range, the psychographics, behavioral traits, buying triggers, so much. And when you go through this, again, it's going to give you like an insane amount of clarity. And this takes literally a few seconds to input. After you have developed your AI company brain and you've now identified your super consumer, next is you want to develop your brand identity. And so this allows you to define your brand's voice, your tone, values, positioning, differentiators, just what makes you unique. And it becomes the Bible of your brand and all the content that you create on socials. This is something that once you start to build a team around your brand and content, this is something that you want your team to be aligned with because everything needs to fit your brand and your values. So we also have a brand identity template. I'll pull that up in a moment. And what you want to do is upload this template into ChatGPT with also this prompt that I'm sharing with everyone. Sure, ChatGPT could do all this stuff a year ago, 2 years ago, but I will say we've been using ChatGPT and other AI tools very extensively and deeply since they came out in 2022. And there's been huge improvements in the last, I'd say really 4 or 6 months. Like massive improvements to where the use cases of everything that we're breaking down today are just so significantly better than they were this time last year. Used to before AI, all of these components would take so much time. And now you can literally do it. Once you build your company brain, all of this takes minutes, if that. And so here's the brand identity template that we're sharing with everyone. And when you're putting together Your brand identity, the components and questions that you want to ask is what's the brand names, the basic, what is the purpose of your brand? Why does it exist beyond making a profit? What positive impact do you want your brand to have on the world? What pressing problem are you solving? What are 3 to 5 adjectives that you use to describe your brand as a person? What does your brand stand for? Who is your ideal customer that we already got clear on? What are their 3 to 5 biggest frustrations, 3 to 5 biggest desires? What's your unique value proposition? And you can see that there's more and more and more that gets very in depth. What's your vision that the audience can buy into? This is what truly can create movements and followings behind people. Who's the villain standing in the way? What's your encourager or your slogan? And so you take all of this, and then let's go back over here, and we have this AI prompt. So you go to ChatGPT, you put in the following prompt: create my brand identity by answering each of the following, and then you paste in this entire template that we're sharing with you. And after it gives you the brand identity, ask it the following: what additional questions can I answer? Again, to give you more clarity to develop a much more accurate brand identity. This is something, by the way, that I found to be very helpful. Like we talked about, AI is all about the prompts that you give it. And a lot of the time, like, you don't even know the right questions to ask. And so anytime that you don't know something, ask ChatGPT. So if you don't know the right questions to ask ChatGPT, what are the right questions to ask? And it'll tell you. And then you can just do a voice note and ramble as much as you want. But I always use voice notes with ChatGPT. It's much more efficient, and answer it step by step by step, and it's going to give you more clarified information. You want to review this and then add any additional context to fix any parts that don't fully align. It's probably not going to get it 100% perfect right away. And so instead of manually going in and tweaking things yourself, there's a term of software engineers using tools like ChatGPT for coding, and they call it vibe coding. Like, if there's an issue with code that one of these AI tools will give you, instead of going in there and trying to manually fix the code, you can just feed additional context to the prompts, and then ChatGPT will fix it for you. And it's way more efficient. So don't feel like you have to take it and then go and manually tweak things. You can just continue to feed more context, and ChatGPT or whatever AI tool will get it to 100% of where you want it to be. So now that you've developed your AI company brain, your super consumer, and your brand identity, these are really like the foundational steps for building your brand and your content strategy. It's time to actually generate the scroll stopping content strategy. And so again, providing another AI prompt for everyone to develop your content strategy. So we like to use this one. You're the world's top social media and brand expert with experience scaling many of the world's largest either founder, personal brands, or industry consumer brands, whatever. You want to plug in what you're doing this for here, to tens of millions of followers and subscribers across all social media platforms with billions in online sales generated. Give me the content strategy, suggested types of content, and all the topics I should speak on in my content for my either personal or consumer brand that is going to attract our super consumer, while also putting my brand in the best spot to maximize reach, audience growth, and conversions. Why this is helpful and effective is because with me and my personal brand, media scaling, we're all about social media and brand growth. But if every single video I'm talking only about social media tactics, it starts to get a little fatigued. It's like too hyper narrow for short form content specifically. Preface is, for long form content, you do want to be very narrow, and you do want to basically stay in a lane, because the way that the YouTube algorithm is designed with long form content, when you consistently are speaking to the right person about similar topics over and over and over, it gets very good at being trained up to serve your long form videos to that person. And also when you're doing long form content, there's just more work, more effort. There's so much more that goes into each video. And so you do way less volume of it. And because of that, you can be more hyper specific and zoned in on the same or similar topics. With short form content, you can do so much more volume that you do want to hit multiple different topics and not just stay in like one little lane all the time. And so what this does is it gives you a bunch of different topics and content types that still speak and resonate with your super consumer, but it allows you to be a little bit more broad with your short form content strategy. It's like broad and niche at the same time. And then once we have everything outlines that we've discussed, so now we have the content strategy, different topics as well, we can start to zone in and use hypnotizing hooks. Hooks, like what Brandon was talking about, for short form content, that's really the first 3 to 5 seconds of the video. For long form content, let's say if you have a 30-minute long form video, the hook can stretch a little bit longer and can go the first 1-2 minutes, people will watch a little bit longer before deciding if they fully want to commit to that video. Regardless, this is the most important piece. If you're going to split test or you're going to put full effort into just one piece of video, is the start, is the hook. And so again, we have an AI prompt for you for video ideas, hooks, and script outlines. So again, we're telling it it's the top social media brand expert with experience generating billions, yada, yada. Based on the content, game plan, and topics above, my brand identity, and my super consumer, give me 10 video types, word for word hooks, and outlines for each of the above topics that are going to attract my super consumer, make them feel like they have to stop scrolling and watch the video and want to follow me after. And it's going to give you some great stuff. Again, probably not 100%, but you're going to like 80% of it. And then you can start to cherry pick. If you find that it's not all great, tell it to give you more and feed it context of things that you don't like. If it's giving you ideas that you don't like, tell it that you don't like it and tell it why. And it's not going to continue to give you those same type of suggestions moving forward, right? So again, we're constantly training it. And again, every conversation that you have with one of these AI tools, it remembers it. So you don't have to tell it the same thing over and over. Here's a little side note tangent. The biggest thing that I look for with my team and employees is a fast rate of progress. If someone has a fast rate of progress, they learn quick. You tell them something once and they run with it and you don't have to repeat it, tell them again. That's an amazing person to have on your team. If you have someone on your team who does not have a fast rate of progress and they repeatedly make the same mistakes, or you find yourself telling them the same things over and over, that is not someone that you want on your team. You need to fire and replace that person, right? They are an anchor holding you back. So why I bring that up is because ChatGPT is like the ultimate team member. You tell it something one time and you never have to tell it that thing again. It sticks. And so up to this point, we've fully used AI for everything. And reality is AI is not gospel. And so the final step is to validate with actual intuition, experience, and most importantly, proven data. The thing is, so many people just don't go off data with social media. And I see that being one of the bigger mistakes that creators make, especially when someone is new to creating content and building your personal brand. And so what you want to do is find and study what is working the best on social media. Brandon was going over multiple different post types, and I'll give you the tools that you can use to go out there and find these yourself very quickly with any niche, any industry, any keywords. And the top two tools for this are TikTok search and viewstats.com. TikTok search, completely free. Viewstats.com is Mr. Beast YouTube software tool. So YouTube Shorts and TikTok are the top two short form search platforms. Both of them, on top of just being like scrolling feeds and For You page, they're both search engines. And so they're incredible for putting in any keyword, any search term that you want. And the platform is going to show you the top performing content for those keywords and search terms. On ViewStats, they have a free version, which still has great features, and then a pro version. If I remember correctly, it's like $30 a month. You want to use the outliers feature on the pro version. So what that means is when you're studying top performing content, like the content that stands out the most is if you go to someone's account and then you see that their average view per post is, let's say, 10,000 views, and then they have videos that get 1 million plus. Those are outlier videos. And those are the ones that have a lot of proven success behind them. And that's what you really want to pay attention to and study. And so viewstats.com, it gives you an outlier score based on those metrics. So based on the channel's average view per video, and in this video specifically, how much of an outlier is it? And then it'll give you some, it's like a 20x outlier, 50x outlier. And so you know, it's not about their audience. It's not about their brand. It's about that video specifically that made it really work. And so you want to study that. And then you want to search any keywords and video types on both of these tools. So again, this will show you all the top performing videos for these keyword searches. And then I've provided everyone with a sheet that you can use to organize and analyze all this content. So keep it simple. You don't want to overcomplicate. Like, we want to actually study, like sit down, block out 3-4 hours, grab a cup of coffee and zone in and do this. And you'll be shocked of how much you learn when you spend a few hours doing this and then you do it a few times. You're now a quote unquote content expert in whatever niche or space that you're in. And so you can come in here and add the search term, the video link, the engagement. If you're using ViewStats, you can put in the outlier score here, their caption, because captions do help to a degree. By the way, captions, so that's a good note. They honestly don't matter that much for short form content, the vertical video on most platforms. They don't matter that much on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, Snapchat. And the reason being is nobody looks at the caption until they watch the video first. The one platform that's a big exception is YouTube. YouTube Shorts, on the short form content, instead of a caption, it's called the title. But the title and thumbnail matter so much more because a lot of the discovery placements for YouTube Shorts, like people can still scroll like a For You page on YouTube Shorts, but a lot of the time when they're searching content, before the short form video plays, it only shows them the thumbnail and the title. And so if you don't have an enticing title, it's going to make people way less likely to click, and that's going to hurt the performance of your video. So captions/titles do really matter for YouTube Shorts. And then really put right here the hook. So what are the words that they're saying in the hook? And then most importantly, leave notes. Like on top of the hook itself, what type of video is this? What is the content strategy? What is the pacing? Like really study it. When you're doing this, create 3 tiers to the content that you're looking at, because there's value on tier 1 is going to be the huge outlier content that's like 10x, just big performance over the average post. Tier 2 is semi outlier content. Maybe the average view per video gets 10,000, these get 50,000, 100,000. Tier 3 is low performing content. So it actually performs lower than the average video on the account. And why you want to pay attention to each of these is because it gives you comparison points and allows you to learn the difference between tier 1 and tier 3 content. If you only study tier 1 content and you don't have any comparison points, you can't really see what's different. When you compare both of them, you can start to see, okay, the hook on this one was different in this way. The pacing was different. They used like this editing thing around 5 seconds, and this tier 3 video, they didn't, whatever. Just, it gives you a more full picture to actually have you learn why things work. And then I have a way more in-depth video on this on my YouTube channel. So I left the link here as well. Just started YouTube content. So we're dropping weekly videos there that go over a lot of brand and social media growth strategy in general. All right, and then some bonus tips. So what you can do is upload all the tier 1 content into AI, and then the AI will analyze and identify the common patterns. And it'll give you a lot of insight into why that content is working so well. This will also help train AI to model their content for coming up with your content strategy. And so you can feed into AI all the different transcripts and videos, and then say, hey, based on these types of content that went extremely viral, use this as inspiration for my content. Huge note, AI can also write full video scripts for you based on winning content. Again, this is something that really I've seen so much improvement this year in the last 4 or 5 months, where prior than that, it was not that great. So you being on top of this and taking advantage, like it gives you a massive arbitrage, like first mover opportunity. A lot of people haven't caught on yet. And on top of ChatGPT, there are AI agents that do this of, telling you can take the video scripts, they'll write you new scripts based on all this information. It's better designed, I would say, than ChatGPT. There's multiple options. So you can just put into ChatGPT, what are the top AI agents for viral video scripting, and it'll give you options to check out. Bonus number 2, find top performing content types and strategies in other industries that have not been applied to your own. So don't only look in your space, go look in other industries. A lot of time industries that are completely unrelated to what you do, because there's, again, a huge first mover advantage of being the first to apply winning content strategies from a different industry to your own. Because if it's working in their industry, almost always there's a creative approach for it to work in yours as well. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here, right? All of this is going back to the theme of we're using proven data. So now we learn how to create great content. Step 2 is we want to mass distribute that great content, or at least optimize your distribution strategy. Like how much should you post? How much should you create to get best results and really see traction? So to become a top 1% personal brand, the optimal posting cadence that we found, this is really the foundation that you should strive for, is 1 long form video per week. And you want to post this long form video on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, X, and LinkedIn. I'm a huge believer in when you have content and you have a finalized video, you've done the hard work. Like that's the hardest part. Posting it out is so easy to do, and it's so low leverage, or so high leverage, low effort. It's a no-brainer. And it's a fact, if you post each video across multiple platforms rather than just one, each video is going to get you more reach, more views as a result, because every platform has some level of guaranteed reach and views. And then on top of the 1 long form video per week, 2 short form videos per day per account across platforms. And so you want to post these on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, X, LinkedIn. All these platforms have really been built and have features for short form vertical video. X and LinkedIn over the last year both released short form vertical video tabs on their platforms. Everyone is doing more and more of a push to this. And so this is what it would look like visually when you're posting 2 short form videos per day across platforms and then 1 long form video per week. And look, there's always exceptions to the rule, or there's so many variables to this. There's plenty of brands out there that crush it and they do less posting volume than this. There's plenty of brands that crush it and they do more, but we have posted more than 500,000 times, and we have over the last 2 years, and we tested posting volume anywhere from 1 video per day up to 12 videos per day per account across platforms. And we have enough data that shows best results at 2 videos per day per account. And so the content cadence, like how can you actually action this out to make it sustainable for you, is you want to map out just through basically everything we went through, your content targets, your strategy, and video ideas. And you can do this once a month. And so an example would be if you're targeting 1 long form video per week, 2 short form videos per day. The long form, go ahead and come up with the title and the video ideas for each long form video that month. Like do it in preparation. And then same thing for your short form content. 2 short form videos a day is 60 short form videos a month. It's really not that hard. When you build the systems around it and you actually start to do this, like what Brandon talked about and plenty of creators, you can film 60 short form videos in 1 day and then you're done for the month. If you batch it and you really engineer and do this right. You just need to prepare. And you can also decide if you're going to do multiple types of content, just break it down. So this is just purely example. This is not necessarily what's working best or what you have to do. But you could, just for an example's sake, do 20 clips from your long form. That's a big thing, is your long form videos become a foundation because you can clip it up for short form. And it's going to, again, maximize and get more mileage out of each long form video you create. You can do 20 reaction videos on related news and then 20 other XYZ videos. And you got 20, 20, 20, that makes the 60 for the month. And then what you want to do is look at the data. So every month that you're doing this, and be willing to pivot faster. Like you don't have to only do this every 30 days. If you're 1-2 weeks in and you're seeing a certain post type that's just doing terribly compared to the others, like pivot fast, but look at the data and see what works and do more of what works, and what doesn't work, do less of that. But you should always be experimenting. Don't just bucket yourself into one zone unless it's crushing, unless it's really working. And then for the short form videos, you can decide on the hook for each one of these videos, or if it's a different post type, just decide on that post type. And you can do this and map it out in our content scheduler for the month. This is another tool that I'm sharing with everyone. These are the scheduling tools that we use to currently post somewhere between 30 to 40,000 pieces of content a month. This is what we use to keep everything organized, to keep quality top tier. It's a Google Sheet, but it's extremely effective and organized. So in this, there's a walkthrough video here that everyone can check out later on that shows you how to use it. It can look like a lot at a first glance, but it's pretty simple once you actually get it there. And then you just have, the dates for the month on the left-hand side, and you map out your month's worth of content right here. And this is what you go off of. You want to input and fill out these cells. And that's how you know like you're moving on your content strategy. And then next step, create a filming schedule. So instead of every single day filming new content and waking up, it's like, hey, what do I film? It's going to be way more sustainable for you if you follow all these steps that we're talking about and really prepare your content strategy and then batch it and schedule it in your calendar for different filming sessions throughout the month. And you can easily knock this out, not easily, I don't want to say, but you can knock this out with 1 filming day per week or 2 filming days per month. It doesn't have to take a ton of time. So just add it to your calendar and commit and prepare for each filming day rather than winging it. A lot of people go in and kind of wing it. They put it in their calendar, but then they haven't prepared. They haven't mapped out all the video ideas beforehand. That again is going to be way more inefficient versus if you put full preparation into it. Now, it's something that's really important to note, and why we specialize and focus in on short form video content so much is because every short form video gets guaranteed majority non-follower reach that's targeted based on interest. And this is across all platforms. And so here's examples here that you can see. This is across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Every platform, when you post short form content, majority, 50% of your reach almost always goes to non-followers. And these non-followers, again, are targeted based on interest. That's why I was saying earlier that organic content has almost never been more like ads than it is today, but the reach is free. You don't have to pay for the reach at all. And that's why this is such a massive opportunity. Every platform has turned much more into a For You page rather than a following feed, to where we're constantly being served content based on our interest. If we like business content, you're going to get served a lot of business content. If you like real estate, you're going to get served a lot of real estate content. If you like basketball, you're going to get served a lot of basketball content. And so that goes back to what I was talking about earlier of being specific, speaking to and creating content for your super consumer, because the platforms are going to serve it to that person as a result. And so given that every time you post short form video content, you're guaranteed hundreds, thousands, and potentially millions of targeted non-follower views for free. Where it gets really exciting is when you have the content library and systems to create more than 2 short form videos per day, while also, very important, maintaining quality. Quality always has to come first before you add volume. But when you have these systems to reach top 0.01% scale, you can start creating sub accounts. And this is a big strategy that we've pioneered and a big part of our success of generating 5 billion plus views in the first 2 years of starting media scaling. And so what this looks like is you create a new batch, is what we call it, of sub accounts to post every additional 2 short form videos. And a batch example could be Grant Cardone Reels. Your name Reels, your name Clips, your name Advice, your name Talks, your name TV, best of your name. You can get so creative. Use ChatGPT to come up with all these naming formats for you. And it's just adding a word with your name in it, so they're still branded to you. And you want to create this batch of accounts with the same username on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and Facebook. So you have 5 accounts per batch. LinkedIn and X are not included in here because they're not very effective short form video platforms only. To really build a following in those platforms, you need a lot of text-based content. If you only post short form video alone, we haven't seen it move the needle, and we've constantly tested it. We still haven't seen change on that. So these are the platforms where we see the most momentum when we're posting strictly short form content. And then you want to post 2 additional short form videos per day per account. And when you post two posts per day across 5 platforms, that's 10 posts per day and 300 posts per month per batch. I know we're getting into some math here, but when you rinse and repeat this, the goal is to create more great content that gets posted across more accounts, and then you just never stop. Most creators and brands out there are posting, 100 pieces of content per month if they're good. And with sub accounts, you can come in and you can post thousands. When you're a personal brand, where we see top level results, and so this is really the target that you'd want to really build up and aim to over time, is if you're creating 20 unique short form videos per day across 50 total sub accounts. This takes a team, by the way. This is not easy to do. That's why most brands don't have it. And that comes out to 3,000 posts a month. If you're a media brand or a consumer brand, you can take it to kind of, depending on who the brand is, a really massive level of scale, like 50 plus unique short form videos a day, 125 plus total sub accounts, 7,500 plus posts a month. This is if, dream clients of ours that we're building to is like NFL, the UFC, Netflix, streaming services. We could do such massive scale and just take over socials with their content. There's so much content to go off of, and there's not a fatigue that happens. For a personal brand, it's like it's you, your face, in every single video. And so if you're posting 20,000 times a month, we have just seen kind of a law of detrimental return. And so we like to build people up to doing around 3,000 posts a month. And then visually, what this looks like is you go from the foundation posting cadence to this is what sub accounts do for your brand. And it's like a lot of us in here are interested in real estate. With the condition that you buy right, you're buying smart, which real estate investor do you think is more wealthy? This one or this one? If each one of these pieces are properties. The same thing is with all this content. We look at every post that goes out as digital real estate, right? Because it lives on. And when it really performs, like more and more people are seeing it and coming into your world. And so when you have this much digital real estate, as long as it's quality, you're going to win over people who are at this level. So this is really where we're seeing massive results. It's one of the biggest opportunities to rapidly grow on social media today. But you don't start there. And so a lot of people ask the question when to do sub accounts. Really, like where we found it makes the most sense for people is when you're doing at least 5 million plus annual revenue in your business that's tied to your socials. If you're a personal brand, you need to have a videographer or a creative director on staff. That way you're constantly just getting a lot of new content, B-roll, pictures, like there's a big content library. And then before you do sub accounts, you should already be running ads to retarget all the reach created across the sub accounts. This is huge low-hanging fruit. By the way, if you're not running ads if you're already creating content, you have a personal brand, and you're not running ads to your social engagement and your reach, you're losing money. Those campaigns, if the ads are good and your content is targeted, are almost always profitable. So we want to tap into low-hanging fruit before going straight to sub accounts. This is not something that you do step one. It's something that you really build up to. But then when you fit this criteria, it becomes one of the ultimate competitive edges for your brand and business because most other people don't have this. And then step three, pillar three is let's maximize monetization. And the first thing to get out of the way is AdSense and brand deals for monetization suck. It's horrible, and relying on these is a good way to stay broke and not make a lot of money from your socials. I've connected with so many people who have millions of followers. We had a conversation with a channel that had 12 million subscribers on YouTube recently, and they were making like, there's fluctuations, but right around 100,000 a month with 12 million subscribers versus what I'm about to break down after these slides. We've connected with plenty of people who have tens of thousands of followers and are making multi seven figures a month, hundreds of thousands of followers making 8 figures, or not a month, sorry, a year. So don't just rely on this. The way that you make money from socials is owning equity in a business or businesses. By far, absolutely nothing else compares. Here, let's break down this too. There are a lot of businesses out there, and the owners, the team, they don't want to be in front of the camera. They don't want to create content. And so there's an arbitrage opportunity as well. You don't have to have this massive following. You can come and become the face of a brand and a partner with the brand and negotiate equity as part of it, because it's solving a big problem for them. So find equity in some way, whether it's your own business, you're starting a business, you're buying a business, you're partnering. And then when you have equity in something, that means that that business has an offer. And the most low-hanging fruit way to make a lot of money is having an undeniable offer. An offer that when people see it, it's so good that almost they feel like it's too good to be true. And so we have a full program course in this step by step. I'd say it's really good. I put a lot of effort into it. And you can get it here with this QR code as well. The QR code throughout all these slides also includes undeniable offer access for everyone. So step one is undeniable offer. And just to preface, the number one mistake I see people make with their offer that makes them less money is not having a guarantee. If you don't have a guarantee with your offer, I promise you are making way less money than you otherwise would. And so in undeniable offers, not every guarantee needs to just be money back. There can be conditions to them. You can have results-based guarantees. There's a lot of ways that you can get creative to still have it make sense for your business and not expose you to too much risk, but you need a guarantee. That's what removes the risk for the buyer on the other end. And the best way to convert from your socials is going from your socials to a lead magnet, something to opt in, and then those lead magnets and opt-ins drive to your offer and into your sales process. So it's not going to be as effective if you're just trying to take people straight from your socials to booking a call with you, whatever. Sure, you can capture some small segment of your audience, but you're going to capture a much wider pool and have more scalable systems when you give them highly valuable free stuff as well, which is what lead magnets are. And ideally, you need to at least collect name and email. Ideally, you're collecting phone number as well. And when you're collecting phone number, you just want to have the systems to where you can have SMS, text automations going out. And once you get to a certain point, have a sales team who's calling them. And there's plenty of systems that can have salespeople call people immediately within 1 minute of opting in. And that'll make you so much more money. What should your lead magnets be? It should be the most valuable thing that you know, but still lead them with more itch to scratch. A lot of people want to hold back on their free stuff. They're like, I don't want to give away like too much value because I want people to pay for that. And if your lead magnet is mediocre or it's not hugely valuable, people are going to go through it and assume that your paid stuff is mediocre and not hugely valuable. Versus if your lead magnet is massively valuable, people automatically assume it's like, man, if I got this much value for free, I can't imagine what the paid stuff is like. And it makes you more money. So give high value for free. Give away for free what can be sold for thousands, and then watch how many more people want to buy from you. So there's this acronym I put together called HALOS for lead magnets. And ideally, it is highly valuable, actionable, low effort, one big promise, and short. So like the presentation that we're going through today, I would consider it highly valuable for a subset of people. It's actionable. Like there's no way that people can go through this and not understand what at least some actions to take. It's low effort. AI is incredible because it's so low effort for people. You just put in prompts. There's a big promise behind it, and it's short or faster to go through. Cool. High converting lead magnets, different types that are working really well. I love email newsletters. It's also looked at as very legit and traditional. A lot of the biggest firms and companies in the world have email newsletters. It just works. Courses are great. Community, it can be good. It takes more bandwidth to actually manage the community. PDFs are great if it's, again, follows the HALOS framework and it's short and actionable. Don't give people a 100, 200 page PDF. They're not going to read it for free. Any type of tool that relates to your business is awesome. AI and software is great. If you can do a free trial to your service, that works amazing. And then this is more so sales systems that also require opt-ins, but webinar and VSL to book call are still, both of these hold the crown, especially if you're selling anything high ticket. We have clients who are generating anywhere between 50 to 150 million per year in the more so info, coaching, digital space. And webinars are still top funnels. Some of our biggest clients, like they are cranking with webinars. A lot of people kind of moved away from them the last 4 or 5 years. And I think that's also what makes it even more effective today, but don't discount Webbies. And then if you want to take this to really advance, be willing to incur costs for delivery of your lead magnet. The condition of this is you can make sure that people are qualified. And so they complete a quick form, you make sure they're qualified. And if they are qualified, then you incur costs to deliver or make something very custom for them. But it creates massive throughput and massive conversion on the back end. Like you absolutely will make more money if and when you're willing to do that, because most people aren't. Most people don't want to incur costs for their free stuff. So it immediately sets you apart. All right, let's get into driving conversions. So taking people from your short form content to long form content like YouTube or podcasts is amazing. Reason being, there's a rule. It's called the 7-11-4 rule. If people watch 7 hours of content across 11 impressions in 4 different platforms, they'll buy basically anything you sell as long as they're a good fit for it. And so the fastest way to get people to watch and consume 7 hours of content with you is with long form video. And so I look at short form content as the ultimate fastest top of funnel. Let's capture as much attention as possible and then take them and funnel them down from there. You can clip up your YouTube videos, post them as shorts, and let people know at the end of the video, watch the long form video here. I'll break down a lot more strategies that we're going to go through now. CTA stands for call to action. In your long form content, have 2 to 3 CTAs embedded in each long form video. The longer the video, the more that you can do. And you want to keep each CTA fast, 15, 30 seconds. Place one close to the beginning, not at the very start, but around 3 minutes into the video. And then place one close to the end, again, not at the very end, but within a few minutes towards the end. If you do it at the very end, a lot more people will stop watching and jump from the video. Have it linked in the description of every video with benefit-driven copy of whatever you're driving people to. This is an important note. You want to use deep links anytime that you push to YouTube from other social media platforms. You see, if you click a link in Instagram or TikTok or whatever, it brings up a browser that's still within the Instagram app rather than taking you straight to your Safari browser or straight to YouTube in this case. What happens is if you promote a YouTube video and it comes in the browser, it's showing them on youtube.com where you're not logged in. And so a lot of people will start the video and then they jump and they never come back to it because they weren't logged in. And that also is terrible for your starting engagement, because if YouTube sees people who start your video, watch it for a few seconds and then leave, it serves your video to a lot less people, because that's not a good sign that it looks for. Deep links takes people straight from Instagram actually to the YouTube app to where they're logged in, they can save the video, watch it later, start watching it now. If you don't know what that is, you can ChatGPT it. It'll show you how to do it. Stories, on your stories, post YouTube videos that are coming out, podcast, newsletter teasers. So show people like the start of your newsletters and then take them to where they need to opt in. Post testimonials on there, results that your clients or customers have gotten, milestones that your business has hit. You can promote webinars, whatever. Don't only promote on stories. This will really hurt your engagement and views. It's important to also keep your stories personal on top. So if you're like only, pushing people to lead magnets every story you post, people stop watching them. So you want to have a personal element as well. Keep it fresh. Pin comments. This is a huge hidden secret, underutilized tool with social media across platforms. You can leave a pin comment on every post, and you should leave a pin comment on every post. And what we found is we can have our organic content be fully value-based with no CTA or whatever, and we include the call to action as a pinned comment, and it doesn't hurt the performance of the post. Because a lot of the time, if you're like over promoting in all your content, what happens is you see your engagement drop. There's kind of a trade-off. It's like Gary Vee popularized the jab, 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 right hook, like value, 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 ask. And so if you're constantly asking a lot in your content, your engagement drops. Pinned comments is a way that we found around that to where you can ask and have a CTA in every video without seeing your engagement drop. And so pinned comments could be watch the full video on YouTube at your channel name, Learn the strategies of 100 million brands on our free newsletter, see bio. We don't have a lot of data to factually show this, but there's a lot of people who theorize when you say link in bio that some of the platforms punish it. I'm not sure if it's true, but we operate as if it could be. And so we say see bio or check bio instead of link in bio. The theory behind that is that the platforms want people to stay on their platforms. And so when you're trying to drive them to a link to get off platform, they don't want that. I'm not sure if it's true or not. MiniChat is amazing. This applies to Instagram and Facebook. TikTok is coming. It's not available for most yet, but they're kind of teasing it. But TikTok is coming. And when that's here, it's going to be huge. And so MiniChat is when you see people say, comment XYZ below for insanely beneficial outcome or resource. Just comment the word below. And you can also say DM me XYZ for, again, this insanely beneficial resource. You can check also, MiniChat allows you to see if someone doesn't follow you, it makes them follow you before they get the free thing. And that's pretty huge. A lot of people have grown their following much faster by using this because people want the free resource. And so they will follow your account to get it. You can go live. This is great. You can do live Q&As, live trainings, etc. You want to optimize your bio and just include credentials. Brainstorm a ChatGPT on this, but you want people to go and see your bio and feel like you're someone that they need to listen to. Don't just say, hey, I'm an expert in this thing, because that doesn't have any credentials to back it up. Showing credentials is like with us, we've generated 5 billion views and 24 million followers for our clients in the last 2 years. Those are big credentials. We've won numerous global and national social media awards. I have a team of over 100 people that we built from our new business in the last 2 years. These are all credentials that show a lot more authority. Not just me saying, hey, I'm a social media expert. So use credentials. Ads retargeting, this is huge low-hanging fruit, but you can retarget all the reach and engagement with ads. And this is warm audience instead of cold. This is one of the biggest revenue drivers for our clients where we're running sub-accounts, is we can retarget all the reach that we create across the sub-accounts. And all of our clients are generating usually 5 million to 100 million plus views a month. These are massive custom audiences. You can retarget it with ads that drives a lot of conversions. It is not cold impressions anymore. It's warm, meaning that they've seen our client, they've seen the content before. By the way, retargeting ads are easy. Don't let that hold you back. You can also spend $5 a day on retargeting ad budgets, and it will make you more money. This is low-hanging fruit that everyone should do. High ticket is better than low ticket, just to solve the debate. It's way more scalable. I've never seen massive businesses in our space with personal branding through just low ticket. All the biggest businesses that we connect with, they sell high ticket. High ticket meaning usually 5,000 plus offers. The best ad funnels that we see working are webinars. And if you're new to doing webinars, you want to do a higher frequency so you get good faster, doing like 1 to 3 per week. Do not turn evergreen. Do not automate your webinar until you've done at least 50, because your 50th is going to be way better than your 10th. And a lot of people try and do this too fast when they're just not that good. So you got to get good before you turn it automated. If you're experienced with webinars and you've already done 50, 100 plus, you can do them monthly or bi-weekly, because this creates more exclusivity for people and it works very well. VSL to book calls is also some of the top funnels right now. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then SLO funnels stands for self-liquidating offer. This is more advanced, but this is where you sell offers that are between, let's say, $7 to $97 on the front end. And then you have order bumps and you have upsells. And the idea is, it's called AOV, stands for average order value. If your average order value is $200 and it costs you $200 to acquire that customer, you're breaking even and you're acquiring customers for free. And then all of that funnel and all of your paid stuff drives them to hopping on a call with your team to where you sell high ticket. And that's fully profitable because there's no more ad spend that's going into acquiring those calls. So this is how people kind of liquidate their ad spend and scale massively. Usually I see businesses start to do this when they get around the 8-figure level. And then quarterly 3 to 5 day challenges also work really well. This is another advanced technique. I say this is if you're at multi 7, 8 figures. Driving organic content to ads really works. And top performing organic content many times creates top performing ads. It's proven creative. And so you can repurpose those, run them as ads. Story highlights are great. You say, play this with a sales video, results, FAQ, about my story, how it works. But your story highlights turn your account into a landing page that drives more conversions for you. Pin posts, same thing. A lot of people just make their most viral videos their pin posts. I think that's kind of dumb. You want it to be good content, but you also want it to show and sell who you are if you have a business tied to your socials. So it can be who am I, results, how it works, etc. And then lastly, you want sales automation set up through email, SMS. You can do call connects like we talk about. If you have a sales team, They can call people right when they come in, voicemail drops, LinkedIn automation, social DMs, but you want to automate and you want to be hitting people on all platforms. It goes back to that 7-11-4 rule, 7 hours of watch time, 11 impressions, 4 platforms. Those 4 platforms are not just social media. It can be Instagram and then YouTube and then email and then talking with your team. And so in conclusion, that's how you create great content, mass distribute great content, and maximize your monetization. That's what I got for everyone. Let's connect. So the business is mediascaling.com. We have lots of our best stuff for free, like we talked about, to scale your brand there. And then I'm at Logan Forsyth on socials, the main 2 platforms I'm focused on right now. We post across all of them, but I'm active on Instagram and YouTube. And then again, you can scan this for slides and undeniable offers, free access.